Yo, what if the Prince of all Saiyans literally just dropped into Konoha? Let's find out.
The tranquil skies above the hidden leaf village suddenly tore apart, shattered by an unknown cosmic anomaly. A force so immense and alien that the very chakra of nature began to tremble in absolute fear. Falling from the void was a warrior of absolute destruction, broken but radiating terrifying power. Even unconscious, the Prince of all Saiyans was a weapon of mass destruction. The impact hit with the force of a falling star, violently rewriting the landscape of the ninja world. The entire forest of death shook to its very core, silencing every beast within miles. The apex predators of this world instinctively knew. A true monster had just arrived. And then an unnatural, suffocating silence fell over the smoking crater. Beaten, broken, and stranded in a dimension entirely devoid of his own kind. The proud Saiyan prince was entirely at the mercy of this strange new world. But Saiyans are known for one thing above all else. They refuse to die quietly. Luckily for him, someone was incredibly bad at following the village safety rules. Enter Konoha's #1 unpredictable, knucklehead ninja. He was just looking for a cool place to train, but he found something way out of his league.
Whoa! Is this guy an alien or something?
Common sense would scream to run away, but Naruto never really listened to common sense. The deadliest warrior in the cosmos, reduced to being poked by a 10-year-old with a stick. He couldn't just leave him here to be eaten by giant bugs, right?
Damn, why is he so heavy? It's like dragging a whole house!
Saiyan muscle density combined with gravity armor was not exactly child-friendly. This rescue mission was quickly turning into a full-body workout from hell.
Come on, move, you stupid block of metal! I'm not giving up!
With pure Uzumaki stubbornness, he managed to inch the fallen prince towards safety. Though safety might not have been the best word for this incredibly bumpy ride. The boy had no idea that saving this man's life would cost him his entire life savings.
Bro, he's literally dragging a tank. My guy's fighting for his life just moving him.
But the hardest part wasn't dragging the Saiyan. It was what would happen when he woke up, and the Prince of Saiyans was never one for a peaceful morning. The monster was waking up, and he was incredibly, violently hungry. The nightmare for the Leaf Village had officially begun. Thinking he had just saved a regular guy, our blonde hero decided it was time to play doctor. But let's be real. Delicate medical ninjutsu wasn't exactly in this knucklehead's skill set. He approached the Prince of Destruction with the grace of a charging rhino. It was arguably the most disrespectful first aid in the history of the shinobi world. No chakra healing, no careful inspection, just pure, unadulterated mummification.
There we go! Good as new, you weird old guy!
If the Saiyan Prince was awake to see this, he would have instantly blown up the entire continent. But the pride of a Saiyan warrior doesn't stay dormant for long. Especially when disrespected, the gravity in the cave suddenly shifted, pressing down like an invisible mountain. And in that moment, the boy wasn't the only one who felt the overwhelming threat. Deep within the seal, an ancient evil was throwing a massive panic attack. The great Nine-Tails had felt many dangerous presences before, but this was entirely different. This wasn't just malicious chakra. This was the raw, untamed energy of a planet destroyer. The strongest of the tailed beasts was genuinely sweating bullets.
You idiot brat! Back away from him right now! That thing is a monster!
It was the very first time Naruto ever heard the great Nine-Tails sound completely terrified, because the monster on the outside had just woken up. The sleeping dragon had finally decided he had enough of the disrespect, and his first target wasn't the boy. It was the parasite hiding inside him. His gaze didn't just pierce physical flesh. It shattered the boundary of the soul. The Prince of Saiyans had entered the chat, and he brought absolute terror with him. The demon that made the ninja world tremble was now nothing more than a cornered pup. Two absolute monsters staring each other down in a silent battle of pure killer intent. The tension was thick enough to cut with a kunai. Someone was about to die. But fortunately for the fox, Saiyan metabolisms run on a very strict schedule. The god of destruction was officially hungry, and somebody had to pay the bill. Looks like ramen is on the menu, kid. And just like that, the greatest financial crisis in Konoha's history was about to begin. Ignorance is bliss until a Saiyan walks through your door. The aroma of pork broth was a temporary truce for the god of destruction. Teuchi had served many dangerous ninjas, but this guy felt like a walking natural disaster. The Saiyan prince didn't do patience, especially on an empty stomach. Naruto just wanted a quick meal. He had no idea what he was about to unleash.
Bring me everything you have, and keep it coming until I say stop!
The first bowl was served, and the countdown to bankruptcy began. The chopsticks didn't stand a chance, neither did the kitchen's inventory. It defied all known laws of physics and digestion. I won down. Several hundred more to go. The great Saiyan black hole had officially opened. Teuchi's life's work was disappearing faster than a shadow clone. Broth that took days to simmer, gone in literal seconds. It wasn't dining. It was the complete eradication of calories. The old chef was pushed past his physical limits to meet the alien demand. And right then, reality hit Naruto harder than a Rasengan. A monument to gluttony and a tombstone for a ninja's bank account. Every single noodle, every drop of broth in the village was gone. The massacre was finally over. The prince was fed. He hadn't felt this full since the last buffet on planet Vegeta. It was a beautiful sight, until the mathematics got involved. The owner tallied the damages, his hands shaking violently. The final number was something usually reserved for buying entire buildings. The bill of absolute doom was served. 10,000 Ryo, a literal fortune.
10,000? Are you crazy? I'm gonna be broke forever!
His frog wallet officially pronounced dead on arrival. Meanwhile, the culprit felt absolutely zero remorse. Saiyan royalty doesn't carry currency. They take what they want. And just like that, the burden was flawlessly transferred.
Your village, your tab, kid. Figure it out.
He couldn't even afford a cup of water, let alone a royal feast.
No money? Fine. We're going hunting. You better be useful, brat.
Bro just straight up scammed a 10-year-old. Vegeta is a menace to society, I swear.
For a Saiyan, paying off a massive debt meant only one thing: immediate, extreme survival training. And Prince Vegeta didn't believe in using training wheels.
Are you crazy? I'm gonna die!
Welcome to the deep end of the pool, kid. He barely had a second to process the fall before the real nightmare began. The rules of this survival game were about to be forcefully rewritten. Like any shinobi, his first instinct was to rely on his chakra tricks. But the prince had zero tolerance for magic hand signs. The warning shot was louder than thunder and precise to the millimeter. Message received loud and clear.
No magic hand signs. If you rely on cheap tricks, I'll feed you to the worms myself.
With his Jutsu band, Naruto was nothing more than an appetizer, and the locals were very, very hungry. Without his clones, the boy was hopelessly outmatched in raw power. Every bone in his body screamed in agony.
Man, this is totally unfair!
The beast showed absolutely no mercy to the exhausted ninja. He couldn't fight it. He could only dance with death. For the Saiyan, watching this was like watching a turtle try to fly. The physical gap was simply too massive to bridge with willpower alone. If the boy wouldn't tap into his hidden power, Vegeta would drag it out of him. He unleashed a fraction of his true killing intent, aiming it squarely at the boy. The apex predator of the forest instantly realized it was just prey. Under the crushing weight of a Saiyan's aura, a normal human would simply die. But inside him, the Ninetales panicked. If the host died, the beast died. Forced into a corner, the demon began to bleed its power to save itself. The chakra leaked, wrapping the boy in a mantle of pure, unadulterated rage. The knucklehead ninja was gone. The predator was awake. The physics of the forest had officially been shattered.
There it is. Now let's see what that parasite can really do.
The demonic chakra gave him overwhelming strength, but it came with a massive, uncontrolled cost. The apex predator was defeated in a single brutal display of borrowed power, but the energy was leaking everywhere, burning away his life force by the second. The sheer toxicity of the fox's hatred was literally melting the world around him. To a martial arts genius, this wild display wasn't strength. It was just sloppy.
You're bleeding power like a broken faucet, kid! It's absolutely pathetic!
The boy was losing himself to the beast, entirely consumed by the raw, unfocused rage.
Don't just let it leak! Compress that raw energy deep into your core right now!
Fighting a tailed beast for control was hard. Forcing its chakra backward was absolute suicide. The demon fought back furiously, refusing to let its toxic power be contained. But the boy's Uzumaki's stubbornness was stronger. He began to compress the beast.
Ah! It feels like my entire body is burning up from the inside out!
For Vegeta, survival of the fittest wasn't a theory. It was the only law. The chakra wasn't just heat anymore. It was gaining physical mass. The untamed magic was being forcefully converted into raw, concentrated combat power. The physical laws of the ninja world were beginning to buckle under the strain. Inside his soul, the demonic chakra was successfully merging with his own life force. The evolution was complete. Chakra and ki had finally become one, and just like that, the true power of a Saiyan's disciple was awakened. The sheer magnitude of his new energy threatened to tear the forest apart. Even the ancient woods bowed down to this unprecedented alien force. Smart bear. Sometimes running away is the only tactical option. The toxic red had vanished, replaced entirely by a radiant, flawless gold. He wasn't just a vessel anymore. He was the master of the storm, a beacon of power that instantly put every sensory ninja in the village on high alert.
There we go. Now you're finally starting to look like a real warrior, brat.
The chaotic destruction was replaced by an aura of absolute, terrifying perfection. Gravity itself was merely a suggestion in the presence of this much ki. He stood there, completely unfazed, radiating the calm before a catastrophic storm. The knucklehead ninja was gone. Only the warrior remained, and his eyes held the absolute certainty of absolute victory. The hair was the final touch, the signature of the strongest warriors in the universe. Super Saiyan Naruto had officially arrived, and he was ready to break the world. The Akatsuki didn't care about training or evolution. They only cared about the fox. Professional killers, ready to execute their target without a single second of hesitation. They didn't aim to capture. They aimed to erase everything in their path.
Whoa, are you kidding me? That's way too much fire!
So loud, so boring, and you're messing up my dinner.
He didn't block it. He just turned their ultimate weapon into his personal kitchen appliance. For a ninja, seeing their nature transformation stolen is a total reality check. The death trap was now just a high-tech grill. Nothing says Saiyan royalty like using forbidden jutsu to cook a barbecue.
Are we fighting them or are we having a picnic?
Being ignored by the target is probably the most insulting thing that can happen to a criminal. Even in the middle of a death match, a Saiyan knows how to respect the grill.
Pass the seasoning. This is almost ready, and you're gonna help me finish it.
Even dangerous international terrorists know when they've walked into a losing fight. They weren't fighting a ninja anymore. They were fighting a guy who didn't respect their lifestyle.
Wow. I guess that's one way to deal with bad guys.
Perfection isn't just a state of mind. It's a culinary requirement. After all that fighting and training, hunger always wins.
Eat it while it's hot, kid. You'll need the strength for tomorrow.
Thanks, Vegeta. I won't let you down.
Nothing bonds a master and an apprentice quite like a shared meal in the wild. A rare moment of peace for the boy who usually only knew loneliness. Even a prince of destruction can find a moment of peace when the belly is full. Tomorrow, the training would get even harder, but for tonight, he was satisfied. The forest had seen many things, but never a barbecue quite like this. Maybe this world wouldn't be as boring as he initially thought. Tomorrow was going to be another long day, but he was ready. Survival is the ultimate test, and the prince was just getting started. He had no idea how much his life had changed. The path to greatness had finally begun. Konoha was sleeping, unaware that its greatest protector was currently being grilled.
That's how you deal with Akatsuki, guys. Just ignore them and grill some meat. Easy win.
The Akatsuki didn't just walk into a trap. They walked into the worst mistake of their lives.
Are you serious right now? My food was getting cold, bruh.
The Saiyan didn't care about their plans. He just wanted his leftovers. The boy who once talked his way out of fights was officially off the clock. He moved faster than sound, faster than instinct, faster than they could even blink. The Akatsuki were masters of stealth, but this was pure, unadulterated speed. They were fighting a ghost fueled by a prince's training. He wasn't just fast. He was a force of nature.
Don't mess with my dinner again.
Even the masters of the forbidden arts couldn't comprehend this kind of power. It was the perfect fusion of ki and chakra, refined into a single point of destruction. And in the silence that followed, everything changed. They weren't just defeated, they were completely erased from the scene. The forest looked like it had been hit by a natural disaster. He barely broke a sweat. The training was clearly working. The prince was satisfied. The pests were cleared, and the food was waiting. A massacre, but with a side of perfectly grilled meat.
That was a lot of work for a quick lunch.
Don't get comfortable. Tomorrow, we start for real.
A legend in the making, born from a barbecue and a punch. He wondered if anyone else would come to challenge him. He finally felt like he could protect what mattered. The forest was quiet again. They were ready for whatever came next. A testament to the power of a Saiyan's influence. The night was theirs. Tomorrow the world would never be the same. And so, the story continues, ready for the next lesson. The legend is only beginning. The path forward is theirs alone. As the dust finally settled, the sheer scale of the destruction became clear. But for a Saiyan prince, a little collateral damage was acceptable, as long as it didn't ruin his meal.
Look at this, completely ruined. What a waste.
He stood there, praying the Saiyan wouldn't take his frustration out on him. Then, the prince looked at the boy, and he saw something interesting.
That fox inside you might actually taste good grilled.
What? Stay away from him!
Relax, kid. I'm just messing with you, mostly.
Even the demon felt the threat in the Saiyan's voice. It was truly terrified of the man on the outside. Then, the real reality kicked in. His ticket out of debt was gone.
No, my money! I'm gonna be in debt for life!
Quit whining, brat. You just need to catch a bigger one tomorrow.
The nightmare was only just beginning. He realized the debt was never going away. He would hunt everything in this forest if he had to. A legend in the making, born from a barbecue and a punch. Maybe this world wouldn't be as boring as he initially thought. Tomorrow, the training would get even harder. The forest had seen many things, but never a barbecue quite like this. Even a prince of destruction can find a moment of peace. Ready for the next lesson? Survival is the ultimate test. The night was theirs. Tomorrow, the world would never be the same. The legend is only beginning. Ready for the next lesson? The path forward is theirs alone.
That's a wrap. If you're vibing with this Saiyan Ninja chaos, hit that like button and sub for the next part. Catch you on the next one.